Hey everybody, how's it going? So I just want to talk about why buying collectibles at 70% and some transparent breakdown of cost, risk, and sustainability. Personally, if I buy a collection, it's at 70%, and here's how I'll factor into if the seller wants to go higher. So put a little slideshow together. The simple answer, buying at 70% allows for fair payouts to sellers, covers fees, shipping, and labor at risk from the buyer, and creates a sustainable business model if you buy and sell collections. Platform fees. So if you're selling on, like, say, eBay, you're going to look at 13 to 15% after fees and payment processing. So you're already going to only profit 15%. If you do TCG Player, basically the same, 13% on fees. I know they just raised it. So, if you buy a collection at $100 and you can sell it, if its collection's 100 and you buy it for 70, you're basically only going to net a total of 85. Plus, within that 15%, how I judge it is there's some shipping costs and so forth in there. Now, if you sell on your own website, you'll net more, but websites will still incur 3 to 4% processing fees. So $100 card net often nets only $82 to $87, which is why 70% is fair, because it does take labor, time, and so forth. Shipping and supplies add up. So, envelopes, mailers, labels, ink, postage stamps, boxes, depending on how much you're selling at once. Low dollar cards, this could be 10 to 20% of the value itself. Time and labor matter. Sorting and condition checking, pricing, listing, inventory management, packing, shipping, customer service, hours of work per collection should all go into that 30% off of the collection. Market, right? So you buy a collection, you're not looking at every card. So maybe there's some, once you start inspecting a really nice cards and being lightly played, so that it's going to reduce the value. Prices fluctuate, right? Cards may sit for months before selling, depending on if you're buying big bulk collections with a lot of, bulk, or are you buying high end. If you're buying high end collections, maybe you can get a little, it'll move faster, but 70% is still what I believe is highest. Inventory ties up capital. Like anything, your cards may take 30 days, 180 days, could take a year, who knows, right? Your money's now locked up in inventory, and if you're starting small and you're trying to grow, that adds up, because now you can't buy more collections and so forth like that. Slow sellers also reduce your overall ROI, which is rate of investment. Return and losses happen. Hey, UPS loses, or however you ship it, they lose a box, damage it. You get an item not as described claim. Partial refunds to maintain feedback. Maybe your man was really lightly played, so you give them a discount on the two price differences and so forth. So why 70% works? Here's an example. $100 market value card, you buy it for 70. Fee, shipping, supplies at the high end is $17. You're a net profit about $10 to $13 off of that. So within that, you're only making 10, 13% depending. So I always say 15% you lose 15% just for your time, your shipping, and your money, and you're really only making 15% profit. That's how I break it down when I buy from someone. And 70% is an industry standard. Most card shops buy at 60 to 75. 70 is a fair midpoint for liquid cards. Higher buy-ins remove sustainability. So like the card shop down the street from me, they buy 60 to 70%, and they offer more for store credit though. So, everywhere is a little different, and liquid, can't say the word, but the liquidity of the card and so forth like that. So the bottom line, 70% is not lowballing in my opinion, and most people who buy, I would say 70% is very reasonable. It balances fairness and business reality and ensures long-term buying power for future collections. If you go to like a card show, and for instance, when you go to a card show, they might buy it at 80-85%, but they're going to be able to most likely flip it right there at the card show. So it's going fast, right? They buy it for 85, they sell right there for 100, maybe 95%. So those are like different ways. And if you're looking at to sell your collection, a lot of times they can just flip it right there as a vendor. But if you're buying from, your local marketplace or whatever, 70% is going to take you a little bit to flip it. You got to drive, you got to meet, time is money, right? So, and if you're selling, I've had some sellers say like, well, I'll do it myself. It's like, okay, well, go ahead, right? Like, go do it. Realize how long it actually takes to sometimes move collections. You got to mail it, you got to package it, you got to research it. And then, if you're selling on TCG Player, is it TCG low for that card? Is it going to move? If you're selling on eBay, you got to deal with offers, right? If you have your own website, well, how are you marketing your own website? So everywhere is different. But for me, the bottom line is 70%. If it's a real high-end collection, I might go as high as 75. But I know those cards will move much faster. If it's a lot of bulk with no real high end, probably looking at 60-65%, because you're going to take a long time to move that bulk collection. If it's just bulk, no high end cards, no EXs, no nothing, right? But we all have our own business model, and I'm set on 70% myself. I'm curious what you're all set on, or do you think 70% is fair as an industry standard? Give or take, so let me know in the comments below. Okay. Take care, and don't forget to go to PokeOC.com.